Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the part 2 to the Q&A that I posted a couple of weeks ago. This video is going to be super long and chatty, so feel free to grab a drink, get comfortable. I went ahead and made my favorite iced coffee. You guys have seen me make this a million times. I'm sorry if the lighting keeps changing in this video. It's super cloudy outside today, so the sun keeps going back and forth between the clouds and behind buildings and all that stuff. But hopefully that's okay. It's a super casual video, like I said. I'm just wearing my favorite sweatsuit from Aerie. I feel like I have not taken this off since I bought it. I'm going to be pulling my questions from my Instagram. I asked you guys on my stories probably a little bit over a month ago now for questions, and I still have a bunch that I didn't get a chance to answer the first time. So if you guys want to be involved in future videos, be sure to give that a follow. I've been really making an effort again to post regularly and kind of even out my theme, so I'd really appreciate a follow, but you know, do what you want. Jumping right in, the first question I got a lot was, what was the biggest adjustment from college to post-grad? For those of you who might be new to my channel, I graduated from Elon in 2019, so I'm coming up on a year of being graduated, which is so crazy. I think I want to make an entire video about all of the changes that I've seen in myself and my friends and my lifestyle and everything like that. One of the biggest adjustments for me was just not being physically close to a lot of my good friends from college. I feel like I have friendships that have gotten so much stronger post-grad, and I have friendships that have really started to diminish over the last year, which is always kind of a hard thing to accept, but I guess that's just part of life. I feel like I kind of went through the same thing in high school, and you know, friendships that are meant to last will, and I think a really big part of that is making effort. And I know it's so different for every friendship. Like, I have friends that moved abroad, so obviously I can't see them once a month, like that's just not realistic. But I would say, especially a lot of my friends in New York, we've done a really good job of trying to see each other like once a month, once every other month or so, and just making the effort to plan trips if you can and see each other, or FaceTime, or call on your way home from work. Like, it's so easy to make an effort if you want to. So I think that's been the biggest adjustment for me, was just accepting the fact that my friendships have changed and they're going to continue to change throughout the next couple of years. I'm sure people that I've met my first year in DC won't be permanent friends in my life, but I guess that's just being in your 20s too. I don't know. Again, I kind of want to make a full video on this, but some other adjustments that I've had, I think I have a lot more responsibility now, where in college, not that I didn't have responsibility, but if I didn't do something or didn't accomplish something, it didn't really affect anybody else but me. Like, I would get a bad grade on something, or I would let like myself down, where now working for a company and having a team, if I don't do something, there are immediate consequences for other people on my team. So that's obviously a big adjustment. I think my perception of money has changed a lot. I was so incredibly frugal in college just because I had to be, where now I'm a little bit more comfortable. I'm not living large by any means, but I'm not as concerned about money as I was a year ago. And then on a much less important scale, I think I dress a lot more conservatively than I did a year ago, especially in regards to going out. I feel like I have so many bodysuits and tops in my closet that were like my go-tos. I just throw them on. I felt confident, I felt comfortable in them, like never thought twice about it. And now I would never wear it out of the house. Like, I just feel so exposed, and that's been a really interesting transition for me as well. So I'm definitely working on redoing my going out wardrobe, which, I mean, like, when is the next time I'm going to be able to go out? I don't know, but I'd say that those are kind of the main adjustments that I found in myself. I just rambled on that for way too long. The second question I got a lot was how I found my roommates post-grad, and all of my roommates since college, and even some of my roommates in college, have been random through Facebook, and I really recommend that. I know that that's not everybody's cup of tea, and some people would be really anxious living with people that they don't know, but for me, I think it makes me a better roommate. If you're gonna go the random roommate route, I would really recommend getting coffee with them or dinner or something casual like that, just to meet up. Or if you can't meet up because of everything going on right now, I'd recommend at least FaceTiming. Like, don't go into it completely blind, but I think it can be really limiting to only move somewhere because you have friends that you'd want to live with. Also, I have so many friends that I love with every ounce of my being, but I know that I could never live with them, and I think that's really important to know going into a friendship or going into a living situation, because I would so much rather not live with a friend and maintain a friendship than live with them and ruin a friendship, if that makes sense. So I would say just be open to more like random roommates. And it's weird saying random because like I've had only random roommates living in DC, and I don't consider them random anymore, but like I guess that's how I would categorize them because I didn't know them before and I met them through Facebook. So I'd say just be open to living with people that aren't in your direct circle. Kind of going off of that, the next question I got is, when am I moving out of this apartment? Because I touched on it really quickly in my last vlog, but honestly it was super misleading. I am not going anywhere until at least December, so I have roughly like 6-7 months left in this apartment. I absolutely love this apartment and it's been so good to me. I'm really happy with my roommate situation, so it's nothing like that. I just think that in December I'll have lived here for about 1.5 years and I think I'll be ready for my own space. I'm not 100% sure. A big factor for me too is going to be my salary. I am approaching my 1-year mark at my 9-to-5, and obviously my salary is up for negotiation, which I felt a lot more confident about before obviously everything happened with Corona. So depending on the outcome of that and just how YouTube's going for me, if I start a podcast, like all of that kind of stuff will definitely determine my living situation. But ideally I think I'm going to want to move into my own place just to have a little bit more space. But if I can't, like I wouldn't be upset to re-sign here for another year. This apartment has been so good to me and it's so special to me. So not 100% sure. I'm sure I'll keep you guys updated and take you along the process, but that is the current update. The next question was, do you compare your channel to others growing faster? And this is a really good question. I don't think I do. I mean, obviously a little bit, but it's not something that I actively look at or seek out, if that makes sense. I think it's really hard to compare channels. I mean, I guess it's easy to compare them, but if you look into the nitty-gritty, like beyond the surface level, it's really hard to compare them. I know for myself, I really got fucked over with different management companies and that kind of shadow banning my channel for a little bit, and I really like legally can't talk about it, but that is something that set back my content years and years, and I just finally got control of my channel about 1 year ago, and that's when it started growing, and I'm really happy with my growth in the last year. It's really hard to answer this because it's obviously a very saturated market, and I think I'm at my capacity at putting effort into my channel. I know that if I had 40 hours a week to really dive into the science of the YouTube algorithm and go through all of the SEO on my channel and really take the time to improve editing my videos and my camera equipment, I know that my channel could grow so much faster. But the reality is that I don't have that time, and my 9-to-5 is something that I put so much effort and creativity into that I'm choosing to kind of grow myself in that avenue as well. So I don't think I can compare myself to other channels that have more time dedicated to YouTube. The last thing I'll say about this is comparing my growth to someone else's isn't going to make my channel grow faster. If anything, it would just be spiteful, and that isn't going to do anything for me. So I'd rather just be happy for other creators that are growing and flourishing in the platform and kind of focus on making my own small improvements at my own pace, and wherever the wind takes this channel is fine with me, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. The next question I got a couple times was how to be productive when you're feeling unmotivated. And for me, I found the best thing I can do is just get up and immediately start working. I find, especially with working from home, if I wake up in the morning and sit on my phone for 30 minutes or even just pull up my laptop and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch one YouTube video, then get out of bed, that ruins my tone for the entire day. Where if I just get up and immediately go to my desk, open my laptop, even just start going through my emails if I'm really groggy, that to me registers something in my brain that I'm gonna be productive. So that's really helped me. Also, I kind of touched on this earlier, but especially with work for my 9-to-5, sometimes being productive isn't really a choice, just because if I don't do something that directly affects my team. It's one thing if I need to film a video one day and I just don't feel like doing it, so I'm like, okay, I'll do it another day. Where at my 9 to 5, if I don't feel like doing something, that doesn't just affect me, that affects my teammates who asked me to work on something for them, for a client, for a vendor, for, you know, whoever that is, that has a direct correlation to someone else's success. So that's just part of being a good team member, is getting things done when you're asked to get them done. So sometimes it's not a choice. The next question was how I got my current job, and I feel like I've talked about this a couple times on my channel, so I'll just give the like quick Spark Notes version. Basically, I had an internship with them last summer, and then I was planning on going back and working for the designer that I worked for at the time, and she ended up relocating, so I took her position, and that's where I'm at now. I got very lucky and just kind of fell into the job position, and then I found the internship through my college's job portal. So that's kind of like the really short boiled down version of how I got my current job. The next question I got a couple times was, when are you starting a podcast? Are you starting a podcast? And I know I touched on this in my last vlog. I'm still not 100% sure if that's something that I can commit to right now. And if I do it, I want to make sure that I am all in. It'll be professionally done and something that I'm proud to produce, if that makes sense. So I think the earliest that I'd start that would be maybe end of June, early July. I have some other projects that I need to wrap up first from like a personal branding perspective. I need to redesign my portfolio and do some like branding work for my YouTube channel. So until those things are done, I don't think I can confidently start another project. So maybe summer 2020, maybe never. It's really still up in the air. The next question was, how the fuck do you make friends in a new city? And I thought this was really funny because that's something that I'm still figuring out too. I was super lucky to have a couple friends from Elon, and then I have friends from high school that are still in the area. So I kind of had a built-in friend group when I moved here, which is so lucky. I think a lot of people make friends through their jobs, especially if you're working for a bigger company in finance or marketing or something like that, where you have a really big incoming class each year. So there's people your age in the company, even if it's not your department, like through trainings and stuff like that. I feel like they have a lot of bonding stuff in the beginning. I don't know, because that wasn't my experience. I don't really work with a ton of people my age, but I think that would be a really great way to meet people. I'd say besides that, trying to find events that foster community in your city or town, wherever you are. So like workshops, workout classes, outdoor workout classes where you're going on like community runs maybe. I would never do that because I would hate that, but like that's probably a good way to meet people. If you went to college and have an alumni association, see if they're doing any events, or if they aren't, maybe try to start an alumni association. I feel like that could be a really good way to meet people, and you already have something loosely in common. If you have random roommates, maybe meeting their friends or having like a joint pregame so everybody's friends can meet everybody else, stuff like that. Hinge dates maybe. That hasn't really been super successful for me, but like maybe it will for you if you like meet someone and meet their friends. Like I could see how that would work. This is something that I'm still working on too. So if you've moved to a city and have had good luck meeting friends, feel free to leave a comment. I'm sure other people will appreciate that as well. And the last question I'm going to answer is favorite bars in DC. And this was hard for me just because I feel like there aren't a ton of places that I've gone back to multiple times, just because my friends kind of live scattered throughout the city. So we kind of pick a neighborhood based on where one person lives and just go out there. So I haven't circled back to too many places yet. Like I don't have a regular spot like I did in college. Keep in mind, this list is literally all over the place in terms of like vibe, location, everything like that. The first bar that I really like is called Cortez. I believe it's in the Shaw neighborhood. I haven't been in a hot second. I went a lot when I was interning here, but I was living in Arlington, so my perspective on where it was located was a little bit skewed. They have really good happy hour specials, really good margs. They have a cute patio outside, so a really good low-key happy hour spot if you want to actually like sit and catch up with someone. Completely switching gears, another bar that I really like is Johnny Pistola's. It's in Adams Morgan. This is a really fun place if you just want to dance with friends. I've only been a couple times, but every time I've been, it's been the perfect amount of crowded, if that makes sense. Like it's a good crowd experience, but you have room with your friends. You don't have to wait too long for drinks. They play really good music, and there's a couple levels, which is always fun. So that is a vibe if you want more of like a going out type of night. I know I've talked about Bar Deco before. That one's in Chinatown. Really good, just rooftop bar, good food, good drinks. That's really all I have to say about that. I wanted to include something in the Dupont area. If you're familiar with DC nightlife, I feel like Dupont has a lot of the more like clubby type bars. There's two really big ones. Actually, there's definitely more than two, but when I think of Dupont, I think of Mad Hatter and Decades. And if you're going to choose between the two, I would fully recommend Decades over Mad Hatter. I will literally never step foot in Mad Hatter again. I think it is just so terrible. I've also been to 18th Street Lounge in that area, and I didn't hate that. I feel like it was a little bit more classy, but I also really only stayed in one room. Like, I didn't get a full view of the establishment, but I'd say like if I had to pick one area in that neighborhood, I guess I'd pick 18th Street Lounge. I don't know, man. I personally wouldn't choose Dupont as the first place to go out. And then the last bar I'm going to recommend for now is Blue Jacket in Navy Yard. This is definitely a more calm type like brewery vibe if you just want to have like a casual night with friends, but they have really good beers on tap at a very reasonable price in my opinion, and it's just good if you want to go somewhere with friends and like catch up either on like a weekday or a team weekend night. So I really like that place as well. Those are all of the questions that I am going to be answering today. I hope you guys enjoyed this casual Sunday morning Q&A. If you guys have any other video suggestions that you want to see or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comment section, DM them to me on Instagram, all of that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching and always supporting. It definitely doesn't go unnoticed. And with all that being said, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.